Cheers, man. So, hello. It's lovely to be here. Just before I get started, just a few things. I'd like to say a massive thank you to It's Nice That, who featured me on the graduates list. And it sort of really kickstarted my career, and since then I've sort of been freelancing full-time. I got to sacking my horrible job at Green King, where I had sort of troubles like being able to understand what's calamari and what's onion rings. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here. The other thing is, I've got some prints that I got done today. And you're more than welcome to take one, pass one on, and take it home. It's just a nice sort of gesture because, you know, it's a Christmas season and, you know, like whatever. And you might not have heard of me. I don't know. I've only sort of been graduated 6 months. And if you don't like it, just give it to somebody you don't like for Christmas, you know. Saves you from spending any money. And yeah, so I graduated 6 months ago from Kingston University. And I've been working full-time since then. We did D&AD and the graduate shows, and you know that was pretty great. And I'm not actually from London. I'm from Nottingham, and I was in sort of this bit of a loophole about whether I'd sort of stay in London or maybe move back. And I thought, no, I'm going to stay in London. So me and my housemates, we moved into a house. There's soon to be 9 of us, and it's a hellhole. We live under the District and Circle line. Every 4 minutes a train goes over the top. The entire house shakes. When we moved in, we actually we had a few more housemates than we expected, and we found out quite quickly we got rats and mice, and we live under a bridge, so we're kind of like trolls. And actually, this is my studio. We were lucky enough to sort of have an extra space. I share a room with my girlfriend, and sort of as part of the bartering, because there's 2 couples, we ended up sort of getting this studio space, which is really nice. However, that door is actually a toilet, so if anybody goes for a shit, you're sort of left sort of sitting in that smell for a good 45 minutes. We get slugs come through. One day, quite early on, I left some books on my floor, and some slugs ate through all of them. And yeah, I feel like if Satan was spawned anywhere, it was definitely spawned at 23 Wimthorpe Road. So it's been a really great year. I did 56 projects outside of university. I was featured on 29 blogs, including Red Bull, Creative Review, and It's Nice That. I did 18 exhibitions as group shows with people like Puck Collective. I did one the other week with, which was Mel Gibson themed, and I submitted to 5 competitions, which was kind of nice. And if you wanted to know what that sort of looked like, it sort of looked like that. And sort of some of the stuff sort of in your left corner is some stuff that I did quite early on, and a lot of the stuff sort of towards down here, where the palettes have sort of brightened up a bit, is stuff that I've done more recently. I've been really lucky this year. I've worked for The Telegraph, The Times, The Guardian, Women's Health. I've also done some pitching on some branding and advertising jobs, which has been really exciting. Out of all the competitions I entered, I also got, I won a D&AD pencil, and the It's Nice That studio really loved this image because this is the day after the graduates night, and sort of, it went graduates gone bad, and I got really drunk, and this was the same day we moved house, and the night before I was up till 3 in the morning sort of helping clean it and sort of do my bit, because I couldn't help move because of the It's Nice That graduates thing. I ended up getting really drunk. My phone got stolen. A Greek guy propositioned me and asked me if I wanted to go back to his house. And I wandered around London for 4 hours, and I thought, you know, life's really good. I did a nice presentation there, but then also life got really bad, and I had to wait around for 4 hours in sort of like Waterloo and South Bank, and a gentleman got very fond of me. So after the whole It's Nice app thing, I thought, well, I've got to get sort of behind stuff, and I've got to start sending people stuff, and I've got to try and do it, because quite a fair bit of work came in, and I was kind of like, I really don't want to go back to sort of my crap job at Green King that I had for like 3 weeks. So I got behind my graduate project, which was sort of about social media and how rubbish it is, and how, it's absolutely brilliant that we can stay really connected, but, realistically, do we do all that much with it? And I don't really think we do. And sort of on the back of that, I submitted this to Creative Review, and I was really sort of lucky in the sense that they picked me up, and they emailed me and they said, I would really like you to do the graduates list. And they sort of ran this project with JC Deco, who do a lot of the moving advertising boards sort of at train stations and supermarkets around the country. And they said, we really like your stuff, so I tell you what, we'll take one of your images and we'll put it on our screen. And what happened was, I think it was in September, every 15 minutes my image would turn up in train stations, bus centres, and sort of shopping centres around the UK, which was really, really nice. This actual image was for the branding that I did for Bristol Comic Zine Fair, which was really nice, because I don't really make comics. I was kind of weirded out when they said, do you want to do it? But he was kind of keen for me to do it. And from that, I did this image for the 88 Journal, and quite a lot of big people did stuff for it. Matthew the Horse did stuff for it. Lee Dirk did stuff for it. Mariana Madrid did stuff for it. And I really hate this piece, I'm not going to lie. It's, it was kind of a weird point. I'd sort of just graduated and we were sort of packing up the house and stuff. And it came to like a month or so on, and then just got a phone call, and Kate, who art directs it, was like, oh, do you want to sort of come to the Design Museum, and we're doing a launch. And the magazine's actually owned and ran by Jamie Cullum, and it sort of acts as a nice little magazine, but also is sort of the sort of thing that he sticks on his merch stand. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll do something live and illustrate it and whatnot. And nobody was really that interested in me illustrating live at this event. Everybody had sort of come to fanboy Jamie Cullum and Beardy Man, who did some like sweet beatboxing, and Jamie Cullum like played the piano and sung, and it was beautiful. And the technician sort of picked up on the fact that actually nobody really cares, and he sort of said, I tell you what, I'll have a word with a couple guys, and we'll project that image on the side of the Design Museum, which was kind of crazy, because this is probably my highlight of this year. One, because it kind of sucked being just sat there in the corner, but two, because I never expected this would have happened. This was a project that I worked on for Mosaic Science. It's probably my favorite editorial project that I've done to this date, mainly because it's about disability. My brother only has one hand, and he works for Remploy, who they get people who are less abled into work. And it's about sort of breaking the stigma around disability, and it's kind of fun. It was at a point where I was a little bit quiet, so I had time to sort of mix up my color palettes and sort of, really go for it. As well as that, my Instagram went viral, and I got 64K followers, and I had followers that were like 12 years old and from like the South, deep South America, and then also like people from Dubai who own like tigers and lions and bears. And it was kind of weird. And then I had this girl write on one of the comments saying, I'm 12 years old and I draw better than you. And I just think that's excellent. It's the sort of thing, if you don't laugh about it, you cry about it. And it's the sort of crying that you do when you watch Super Vets and the dog dies or something. I've learned a lot this year, and this was a project that I did for Women's Health. And it was the first project that I did where somebody was really keen to have me work for them because they really like my characters. And what I realized was actually clients really love changes, really love changes. And actually, the one they ran with was the lady with the shades, but she had 6 different changes. I think there might have been a few more that I just couldn't fit on the slide. But I'm cool with that. Illustration is an applied art form. It's not art, and you do it for a client. And the client matters loads, and you're just a pen for hire. And that's kind of how it is. Another thing I learned is that actually advertising stuff doesn't really happen or it doesn't really happen much. This was a pitch I did directly after the It's Nice That Graduate feature for Orla Bar Brown, who asked me to do some animation stuff. And I kind of pooed myself a little bit because I don't really do that much animation, but I got a housemate that does animation, and I really wanted to put my all into these roughs, hence why they're drawn with a tablet and not like a cheap, shitty biro. And I was really into sort of like making sure that my housemate got the job because it was a 5-month job. But it never happened. I sent these roughs off and they were just like, no. I pitched on some weird juice drink company thing, and this is still happening. I pitched against 3 other people, and they were sort of really, the client decided that they wanted to do photography rather than illustration, and that's fine. So these Asian jobs that I've had through recently for branding is always really confusing. I had another one where it was 25 labels for a syrup company, and one of the briefs was draw a polar bear skating on a kiwi glacier. And I was just completely confused by that. So I spend most of my time alone working in this quite a cold and horrible studio, and sometimes I get pretty down when things aren't really going my way and I'm not too busy. It's been a great year, but illustration's kind of like buses, and you can wait 45 minutes or maybe 4 weeks, and then sort of all of them come at the same time. And my girlfriend kindly wrote this list, which is sort of reasons and ways to stay positive and stay active. And I think it's a great way to sort of look at and sort of think, right, I need to do these things. So sort of quite quickly, because I'm actually over time, at the moment I'm working for The Guardian on a day in the life job, and there's 7 illustrations I'm doing. One is a sexual health worker, which I've really struggled to do, because how do you explain sexual health but then get it printed in The Guardian? Really don't know. That's why there's lots of people looking kind of embarrassed, like this guy with the gloves putting on. Because I'm quite quiet at the moment, I've also been trying to do a lot of self-initiated briefs. I'm trying to really push forward my characters and how I draw stuff. I'm moving quite far away from sort of like the really obvious editorial stuff, which is about at the moment, which is sort of kind of really ambiguous, and I'm trying to move more into sort of like character design. And sort of lastly, my plans for next year, I'm going to be doing possibly a book, which I'm going to self-fund, hopefully through Kickstarter, if people want to buy it. I really don't know. If not, you can have it for free, you know. In February, I'm going to drop like about 30 portraits of really big women in last year's fashion collections, because I think that it's about time that people started to discuss body image, and, you know, people that walk down catwalks aren't normal sized, and I think that would be kind of fun. And I'm also going to be doing some animated comics panels, which sort of work on this idea of linear narrative, but maybe suggest some other stuff. It doesn't really look like anything. It's actually meant to be baking a cake, but heck. Thank you very much for having me. Cheers. I'm Mike Driver.